Riverlands are the large area of land in the central section of Westeros. Hoster Tully is the Lord of Riverrun when our story opens. Like many lords of Westeros, like many medieval lords, he was always looking for advantageous alliance. You want to marry your daughters to more powerful houses.
Still love you.
Catelyn Tully was wed to Eddard Stark, Ned Stark, and that's how she came to go north and become the Lady of Winterfell. Hoster Tully's second daughter, Lysa, he married to Jon Arryn, another very advantageous marriage.
A raven on the night from your sister.
Well, she hasn't seen Lysa for 5 years, and she's had a letter to say that the Lannisters have murdered her husband, so she has fled to the Eyrie with her son.
What's she doing at the Eyrie?
He murdered the Hand of the King.
She expects to see her sister the way she left her, happy, but what she gets instead is a very strange, frightened woman.
House Arryn is on the eastern coast of Westeros, north of King's Landing, but south of Great Bay called the Bight. Lysa married Jon Arryn. When Jon Arryn dies, that marriage has left Lysa as Lady of the Eyrie, the de facto ruler of the Kingdom of Mountain and Vale.
The Eyrie. They say it's impregnable. Give me 10 good men and some climbing spikes. I'll impregnate the bitch.
It's way up in the mountains. Down in the dungeons, they have their cells where they put their prisoners. But what they've done with these cells is they've left off the outer wall. So they put you in this cell, and you can leave anytime you want, because, you know, there's no wall on that side. There's just the 600-foot drop.
Mummy, I want to see the Batman fly.
Lysa's a very irrational woman. She's even paranoid about Catelyn coming, and the warmth and the sort of sisterly love that was once there is just gone now.
The Riverlands is the country that everybody crosses over to invade everybody else. They have a lot of fairly powerful lords there, but have a history of quarreling with each other. The Freys are vassals, bannermen of the lords of the Riverlands, which is House Tully. Lord Walder Frey has had numerous wives. His wives keep dying on him, so even though he's like in his 90s, he keeps marrying, 18-year-olds, and they give him a few children, or at least the earlier ones did. So he has sons and daughters. He has a huge family, all of which is conspiring to secede him and fighting with each other for primacy, and everybody's saying, what the hell is going to happen when this old man dies?
You're not Lord Frey yet, not until I died. Out! All of you!
He doesn't get the respect. He's sort of a wizened Rodney Dangerfield of Westeros.
I'm a Greyjoy. We've been lords of the Iron Islands for 300 years. There's not a family in Westeros that can look down on us.
Greyjoys come from the Iron Islands, and they revolted a number of years before the story opens, and the revolt was put down by Ned Stark and King Robert. Part of the terms was that the oldest surviving son of the lord who had revolted was given to Ned to keep as a ward, but also as a hostage.
How do you think Balon Greyjoy would feel if he could see his only surviving son has turned lackey?
I don't think he really likes doing all the sort of menial jobs of, fetching people's saddles and getting that ready. He thinks he's way more important than he really is, basically. And as an actor, that's great to play.
Father fought for the freedom of his people.
The Greyjoys are trouble. I suppose you could compare them to Vikings. Their words are, we do not sow. You can sow, and we'll come, and we'll reap. We'll take what you plant. We'll take your food. We'll take your gold. We'll take your women. southwest portion nation, Westeros. It's the center of chivalry for the Seven Kingdoms. It's where the whole ethos of knighthood and what it means to be a knight, and tournaments, queens of love and beauty, and all of that really has its roots strongest in the Reach. Mace Tyrell, the present Lord of Highgarden, has several sons. His third son is Loras Tyrell, the Knight of Flowers. He's a great tournament knight. He is the teen idol of the Seven Kingdoms.
Thank you, Sir Loras.
He just does as he pleases. He's very kind of a man of leisure, but also a really fierce warrior at the same time.
Mace Tyrell, the present Lord of Highgarden, is trying to make certain alliances and wants someone of his blood to be a king someday and sitting on the Iron Throne. At the core of it, there's a conflict for power for the throne of the Seven Kingdoms. There's plots within plots and wheels within wheels, and many people competing for one seat.
On this film, I've been asked to design all the sigils, provide the appropriate writing, messages, letters. We have a large book, we have maps, so we have to establish what we want to see on the map and how it looks. We have a carriage where we have to design it, which is covered in lions, which you see throughout the film. I started a week earlier than I expected to because of these sigils. Some of them were tricky, some of them were immediate, that's it, let's do that. Other ones took some wrangling. The greater houses, the ones that are hero families as we call them, you see them more often, so we had to establish them fairly quick. The Lannister lion, we went through hundreds and hundreds of versions. We looked at references from the ancient past, the Middle Ages, we looked at 20th century logos, all sorts of different ideas of how a lion could look. The Stark sigil took a long time to develop. The direwolf is a big symbol in the film, so we needed to establish something that really felt right. Greyjoy, the kraken, I didn't even know what a kraken was. It's a giant squid, basically. That's what everybody says it is, so we did a big squid. We basically send digital files of the artwork to printers with specific instructions about how big they are, colour matching. We've got a colour system here, which the printer also has. So we print up banners, flags, tent materials, all sorts of things like that. How the sigils get onto the armour is basically by hand. They're drawn on, or we make stencils. The shields are all painted. The main houses do have moulded shields, which the armourers have done themselves. I was pleased to see them at the tournament, and it looked really good. It was a very enjoyable day. That was the first time I'd seen the flags flying. I'd seen them lying on the table, but they look great. Hope there's a bit of wind when they film them.